In recent weeks, we have become aware of the fact that U.S. depository institutions, in particular Wells Fargo, have been closing the accounts of Iranian Americans without giving them any prior warning or an explanation as to why they are doing so. Unfortunately, bank account closures for the community is not a new phenomenon. In order to understand why banks would close an account to begin with, one must understand how money transmittal works from Iran to the United States. Iran, everyone knows, is a sanctioned country. Therefore, before anyone can effectuate any transaction vis-a-vis Iran, they need to ensure that the underlying transaction is legal in accordance to the sanctions regulations that are promulgated by the Office of Foreign Assets Control, or OFAC. OFAC has carved out certain exceptions for Iranian Americans when it comes to certain types of personal transactions, such as the receipt of a non-commercial personal remittance, which can be a gift or an inheritance from Iran, as well as the sale of real or personal property or assets that one acquired prior to becoming a U.S. person or inherited after. Therefore, as a U.S. person, if you want to engage in any of those underlying transactions, you do not need to obtain any additional authorization from the government. However, the issue is that there is no direct banking relationship between Iran and the United States. This is so because the United States government has cut all banking relations with Iran. As such, you cannot go into a bank in Iran and transfer money directly from Iran to the United States. So if I wanted to sell personal property in Iran and I wanted to transfer the assets to the US, the underlying transaction is legal as long as I had it from before I became a US person or inherited after. However, I can't just go into a bank in Iran, for example, Parsian Bank, and wire the money to my Bank of America account in the United States because Iran is not a part of the international banking system as a result of the United States regulations. And the only way I can legally bring money is through the use of a currency exchange broker. And the way that works is that my family, myself, my attorney, whoever's assisting me with the transaction, gives the underlying funds in Iranian currency to the broker and purchases US dollars, exchanges that to become US dollars to receive it here in the United States. The broker then works with an intermediary broker and wires the money from a third country to the United States. Now, the regulations do not require you to do anything more than to work with an exchange broker that sends the money from a third country bank. It can't involve certain designated nationals, and you should report it to your bank here in the United States, but you are not legally required to do so. In the past, bank account closures have occurred when an individual receives money but doesn't disclose that it's coming from Iran or doesn't give the bank appropriate documents so that the transaction is effectuated in a transparent manner. Also, sometimes brokers deposit funds erroneously from inside the United States, which can also be problematic and lead to account closures for the correct reasons. In other cases, an individual may be physically in Iran and check their bank account, and that is also against the regulations and can result in an account closure. But what we have seen in recent weeks is that individuals who have worked with the law firm, individuals who have submitted all the necessary compliance documents to their bank prior to each incoming wire, individuals who have resided in the United States, and individuals who have engaged in transactions that are permitted under the current regulations are having their accounts closed. There seems to be a discriminatory element in this. We're in the initial stages of gathering information. So we're asking the community to ask, have you or anyone that you know experienced bank account closures? If so, please provide us with the following information via email at info@yazdanyarlaw.com or with this particular phone number, 818-293-1615. Provide your name and contact information, email or phone number if you prefer, the type of account that was closed, whether you received funds from Iran, and whether you reported to your bank that you were receiving these funds. We want to gather this information so that we can work with the banks and determine what the issue is and how we can correct it. And if necessary, then approach the government because, as you can imagine, a US person's right to their own assets is a fundamental right. If the United States government has regulations in place that basically effectively do not allow one to bring their own assets over here from a sanctioned country. That's not only counter to US foreign policy goals, but it is discriminatory against a very particular set of individuals. So please, if you have experienced account closures, or if you know of anyone who's experienced account closures, have them contact our office. Thank you.